Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Geeks. Welcome. I am Ian, and I wanted to do sort of another off the cuff, what's going on behind the scenes kind of video for you guys. There was a lot of positive responses to the previous few videos of us going back to the old Foundation style with Charles, and a ton of positive responses on the I was fired from gaming wildlife thing. And I can't begin to explain just how wonderful that is. Like, really, just thank you all for such a like positive. Hey, we're glad to have you back, sort of thing. It's really amazing, and I just wanted to say thank you so much. So this video, like I said, there's no script for this. Just like what's been going on. And so ever since Gaming Wildlife fell apart, um, I've kind of been like wandering around. I'm not entirely sure what to do with myself now. So just like what happened post Gaming Wildlife and what's been going on the past few months. Almost immediately after Gaming Wildlife fell apart, I actually, okay, it wasn't immediately after. Within about before everything fell apart, so around March of 2018, I applied for a job to work at a local sports station. And they were looking for a freelance videographer to just go out and film local sports games for like high schools and stuff like that. I didn't hear back from them until about a month after Gaming Wildlife fell apart. They contacted me and said, "Hey, we are interested in having you come on," because one of their producers just took a look at my resume and was like, "You know what? Let's take a chance on this guy." And so I went in for an interview and ended up getting the job, which I kind of kept for about 2.5 years. Like I said before, when we were doing Gaming Wildlife, we were balancing a bunch of different jobs. So the next couple of years was just me. I was just working. That's what I was doing. Um, Between working freelance stuff for this sports channel, between I was actually a substitute teacher for a brief period of time, and that was I was not very good at it. I don't know if any of the students actually ended up finding some of my old videos, and a couple of times they were just like, "Hey, Mr. Weaver, really like those videos," and I kind of was a bit coy about it. I was like, "I don't know what you guys are talking about," because I don't know if it was appropriate for them to like see the old videos, because the old GW videos were very um, like I swore a lot in them, and I would make a lot of like very anti-capitalist, uh, like leftist, like remarks in them, and so I don't know if people if that's appropriate for people to watch in schools, but I'm a substitute teacher. I don't know. I like the problem with being a sub is that they don't really train you to be a substitute teacher. They kind of were just like, there was like a 1 day of orientation, do this, don't do this, and then I was just kind of thrown in and be like, hey, now just find jobs. And it's just like, okay, I felt like the big problem with being a sub is that I always felt so underprepared for everything. Like I didn't go to school to teach. I went to school to learn how to make movies. And yeah, it was just very odd to go in and then all of a sudden just be like, I'm expected to do what? I'm expected to be in charge of these kids. Am I doing this right? Am I doing this wrong? It was nerve wracking, but I did that for a couple of years. I was still a delivery driver at the time, still working for a pizza place, delivering pizzas, and I can tell you that there is a significant difference between being a delivery driver in 2011 and being a delivery driver in 2019. Like it was a lot easier to manage early in the decade, and inflation wasn't nearly as high. So you could go out and you could make a semi comfortable living being a delivery driver. But yeah. So just for a couple of years, that's what I did. I kind of balanced myself between three jobs: substitute teaching, freelance videography for this uh, what did I say? Sports studio, yeah, and delivery driver. It was around a few months after I had started for the sports studio that my boss at the time was like, "Do you want to learn how to do master control?" Which is a fancy way of saying a video editor. Because for every television station, there's a guy who runs the computer. Because all of your TV shows, all of your like streaming services have a computer that everything comes from. And so, especially with television, there's a feed. So it's like you're here's a 30-minute video, or which is a TV show, an episode of Friends, say on TBS or something. So they have to put the a thing at the beginning, and then here's the episode, and then they have to mark like commercial spots during the video, and then it just sort of plays, obviously, because that's how cable television works. And so I was the guy who was running the computer for that. They started to develop a streaming app, and so then I had to convert a lot of files to streaming because the codec that they use on the cable channel is a lot different than the codec that they use on streaming. And so there's a lot of file conversion, digital asset management sort of thing. And actually, in 2020, they pulled me on full time. I had I was able to quit being a delivery driver and just do master control full time. When I say 2020, I mean like literally when the pandemic hit. Right when, we're having to shut everything down. The good news was I wasn't fired. Nobody was fired. In fact, the station stayed open because people still wanted to watch sports, people still wanted to see things, and there was a bunch of high schools that we went to in the surrounding areas because where I live, it's a college town where I live, but then there's a lot of smaller towns nearby, and people love to be able to, watch their kids on TV and be able to go, hey, look, there's Susie, and she's, like, playing soccer, and there's Jimmy, and he's throwing the football. They love to be able to see that. And so we were able to bring that to them, which was great. The problem is that while that was fine at the beginning of the pandemic, a year in, it wasn't working so well for them. In and while we were given a bunch of notice for this in May of 2011 or 2021, in May of 2021 the studio closed down. And so out of a job. And within this amount of time I was trying to figure out projects that I could do to sort of get myself back into doing YouTube again. I was trying to live stream sometimes, but it never really worked. I was trying to there was a Magic the Gathering video series that I was trying to put together, but it would take me like months to get stuff done because for me, like my depression and my ADHD, whenever I do something that is remotely tedious, my brain's just like, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do this. I just want to run away from it. That's always been my big issue with video stuff, is that most of video editing is tedious. Like almost, there's that initial high where you kind of get the idea and you're writing some stuff and then you film some stuff, and then once you finally get to the editing part, it's just like hours and hours to get that thing done. Like I didn't do a lot of the 100% honest videos when Gaming Wildlife was around. I had an editor who did a lot of that work for me. The few times that I did those videos, it was like 10 to 12 hours to get the entire thing edited. From sync the audio, chop up the video, get all the parts together, and then you have to go back through and trim them a bit, and then find okay, let's put some graphics here, let's put some graphics here, and there's no real shortcut for this. It was just always a very tedious process. So the problem was that when I was doing these Magic videos, it would take me months because I would have to set up a bunch of cards and film them and edit them, and like I made 2 episodes, and I think I recorded a third, but it was just months of work on it a little bit and then go off and do something else. It's just time management's never been my big thing. But the problem is that you like it was great to have an editor back during Gaming Wildlife's years, but now I'm doing all this on my own, and it's hard. It's hard because of the way my brain works. Is just as soon as it gets a little bit tedious, my brain's just like I don't want to do this. So I over the years tried to put together new projects. Tried to put together there's a podcast me and my friends did called Just Catching Up, which once again, once it started to get tedious, that because you record an hour's worth of footage, you have to listen to that footage to make sure that nobody says something bad, or if someone says, "Ooh, I mentioned this thing that I don't want people to know about," then you have to cut that out. And so you have to go through an hour's worth of footage. And so it would be like I edit an episode, and then a few weeks would go by, and then I'd catch up on the 3 episodes that we recorded, and then a month would go by, and then I catch up on the 4 episodes, and eventually, uh, I had 30 episodes, and I'm just so far behind, and I don't know how to get ahead at this point, and it's just like, oh shoot, what do you do? So the last year has been kind of a bit chaotic. Um, and there's no real other way around it other than I've just been trying to find something to do full time. I've had to take on being a delivery driver once again. I've worked with a local theater to do live streaming and stuff for them, which is, it's within my wheelhouse. It's pretty great, but it's part time work. And so just trying to find a job in this market right now is impossible. It's insanely difficult. And the last few months we've had to move. Like you may have noticed that this is a different location than what we started in. I'm actually staying with someone right now. My wife and I are both staying with people, and we don't have a place of our own at the moment. Because I don't know if you have seen some of the early videos of Gaming Wildlife, but this setup might look a bit familiar if you've seen some of the old videos of Gaming Wildlife. So the updates of the past few months have been a bit sporadic. My mental health has not been great, but ultimately, just gonna keep kind of trucking along. Yes, I want to make this a full time thing. I always wanted that. I just wanted an audience of people to be able to like make videos for, to talk to, um, and obviously doing like comedy stuff has always been a big draw for me. Obviously doing the Charles character I think is fun because I I like the idea of someone who is just ignorant to this, like ignorant but fascinated by a subject that they don't know anything about, and so gaming culture was always going to be a big thing for me. That's what we originally wanted to do this series based on, because we were just like, you know, video games are easy to sort of poke fun at, but what if we had this attitude where it's like we're poking fun at them, but we're also like embracing the strangeness of them. And so a big thing that I've wondered is it still relevant to talk about gaming and gaming culture and use the term gamer? And so I kind of want to explore that with Charles, but really I just want to explore the behaviors of people. I find like psychology fascinating. I want to be able to dive in and be like, how do people work the way they do? Why do they do the things they do? Like the big thing is always why. Why always drives me with this series, and I wanted to bring that back because I liked it, because it was something I was good at, and it's something we're gonna keep doing. Um, I've recorded a few short sketches, and we've recorded a couple of 100% honest. Yes, you're gonna be seeing the Apple guy once again. I've got I think a really good script for that, but I recorded it a few months ago and then found that the footage was completely out of focus because I'm having to do this on my own. I've actually got a, you can see it right here. I've got a old phone connected to my camera with two lights in the background and my Zoom audio recorder to the left. So it's like it's a real janky setup, but it's and so it's not perfect, but it's something it works for me. So uh, like I said, very off the cuff, not really planning on a script for this, just sort of an update where what's going on. So yeah, a couple of 100% honest coming down the line, some short sketches because I enjoy doing those, and it seems like short sketches are kind of all over the place on YouTube, and I was like, you know what, people are doing this sort of thing, getting hundreds of thousands of views on these like 60-second sketches where someone's just going observation about life, punchline, haha, and people find that relatable. I like that. I like these sort of things. And I'm like, you know what, I could do this kind of thing. And probably rambling a bit at this point, but just sort of an update on where are we going with this channel, what's going to happen next with this channel. So yeah, we're planning to do more Charles videos. I don't really have an actual title. Well, I've got a idea for the name of the show, but it shouldn't be Foundation. I don't know if it can be Foundation. I don't think it can. But it's that style, and we're going to go in that direction. And ultimately, just once again, as always, thank you. Thank you for the positive comments. Thank you for the nice things that you said in the Return of Charles video, in the I Was Fired video, on the 100% Honest. You guys are responding very positively to this, and I'm gonna keep doing it. It may be sporadic, but I'm gonna keep up with this as best I can. Um, Follow me on Twitter, Geeks Welcome. Follow us on Facebook. Check out the Patreon if you're willing to give $1. That will help figure out future episodes. Patreon also has access to our Discord. There's not very many people on it right now, but you can join it, and just really thank you. Thank you for being so supportive all these years. And more stuff's coming. We'll talk to you later.